The impact was so severe that one of those cars exploded. The fuel tank ruptured, ignited, and created a fireball that people described as looking like something out of a movie. Except this wasn't a movie. This was real life. This was real people burning to death on a California freeway in the middle of the afternoon. What's going on, young Diesel family? I need to warn you right now before we go any further into this video. What I'm about to show you and talk about is extremely serious. This is one of the worst crashes I've seen in a long time. 4 people are dead, families are destroyed, and this could have been any one of us out there on that road. So if you've got kids around, you might want to have them leave the room. This is going to be heavy. This is going to be real. And I'm not going to sugarcoat any of it because you need to understand what happened out there on the 10 freeway in Ontario. You need to understand how fast everything can go wrong. And you need to understand why this matters to every single person watching this video. Hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, because today we're talking about a tragedy that shook the trucking community to its core. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what went wrong and what we can all learn from it, so this never happens again. Let's get into it. Yesterday, just after 1 p.m., the 10 freeway in Ontario became a war zone. I'm talking about a multi-vehicle crash involving 2 semi-trucks and several passenger vehicles. When the smoke cleared, 4 people were dead. 4 families got the worst phone call of their lives. 4 people who woke up yesterday morning probably had their coffee, kissed their loved ones goodbye, and got in their cars thinking it was just another day. They never made it home. Now, before I go any further, I want to say this. My heart goes out to the families of the victims. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. Nothing I say in this video is meant to disrespect them or make light of their loss. What I'm trying to do here is understand what happened so we can prevent it from happening again. Because that's what we owe those people. We owe them the commitment to learn from this tragedy. So here's what we know. Just after 1 p.m. on the 10 freeway in Ontario, 2 semi-trucks and multiple passenger vehicles were involved in a catastrophic collision. And when I say catastrophic, I mean it in the truest sense of the word. Witnesses reported seeing a massive fireball, a huge plume of black smoke that was visible for miles. The kind of smoke that makes you stop what you're doing and look up at the sky and wonder what the hell just happened. Emergency responders arrived to find absolute carnage. 1 car was completely mangled. And I'm not talking about your typical crash damage. I'm talking about a vehicle that was crushed so badly it was barely recognizable as a car. Witnesses say it exploded on impact. Exploded. Think about the force required to make a car explode. Think about the speed, the weight, the energy involved in that kind of collision. Now, let me paint you a picture of what eyewitnesses describe, because this is important. People on the scene said they saw a red semi-truck traveling at a high rate of speed. We're talking about a truck that should have been slowing down, should have been aware of traffic ahead, but wasn't. For whatever reason, that truck did not slow down. It didn't brake. It didn't try to avoid what was coming. It just kept going at full speed. And then it hit. The red truck slammed into the back of another semi-truck with such force that it created a chain reaction. 2 cars that were in between these trucks, normal passenger vehicles with normal people inside just trying to get where they were going, got crushed. Absolutely crushed between thousands and thousands of pounds of steel and momentum. The impact was so severe that one of those cars exploded. The fuel tank ruptured, ignited, and created a fireball that people described as looking like something out of a movie. Except this wasn't a movie. This was real life. This was real people burning to death on a California freeway in the middle of the afternoon. Witnesses said the scene was chaos, pure chaos. People were screaming, people were running, people were trying to help but couldn't get close because of the fire. The heat from that fireball was so intense that it kept people back. Emergency responders had to wait for the flames to die down before they could even assess the full extent of the damage and try to help anyone who might still be alive. And through all of this, there's thick black smoke pouring into the sky. The kind of smoke that comes from burning plastic, burning rubber, burning fuel. Toxic smoke that you can see from miles away. People in surrounding areas saw that smoke and knew something terrible had happened. They just didn't know how terrible. Now, here's what really gets me. Here's what keeps me up at night thinking about this. That red semi-truck that caused all of this, it was going too fast. It failed to brake. Why? We don't know yet. The investigation is ongoing, but I can tell you the possible reasons, and every single one of them is preventable. Maybe the driver was distracted. Maybe he was looking at his phone. Maybe he was messing with his GPS or his CB radio, or eating or doing any one of 1,000 things that drivers do when they should be focused on the road. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he'd been pushing too hard, running too many hours, skipping rest breaks because he had a deadline to meet or a dispatcher breathing down his neck. Maybe there was a mechanical failure. Maybe his brakes were worn out or not properly maintained. Maybe there was an air leak in the brake system. Maybe the ABS wasn't working right. Or maybe, and this is the one that really scares me, maybe he just wasn't paying attention. Maybe he zoned out for a few seconds. That's all it takes. 3 seconds, 4 seconds of not watching the road ahead. And by the time you look up, it's too late. At highway speeds in a loaded semi-truck, you're covering hundreds of feet every few seconds. Your stopping distance is measured in the length of football fields, not car lengths. If you're not paying attention, if you're not watching traffic patterns, if you're not anticipating what's ahead, you can't stop in time. And that's exactly what happened here. For whatever reason, that red truck did not stop. It plowed into the back of another semi at full speed, and everyone in between paid the price. Now, let's talk about the victims, because these weren't just statistics. These were real people. 4 people died at the scene. 4 people who had names, who had families, who had futures that got erased in an instant. At least 2 others were hospitalized. 1 woman was pulled from one of the trucks. Think about that for a second. She was in one of the semi-trucks involved, and emergency responders had to physically pull her out of the wreckage. I can't imagine the injuries she sustained. I can't imagine the trauma she's dealing with now if she survived. And then there's this detail that just breaks my heart. A man was hit by debris while he was helping someone with a flat tire. He wasn't even involved in the crash. He was just a good Samaritan who stopped to help somebody on the side of the road, and flying debris from this collision hit him. Now he's in the hospital too. That's how far-reaching the damage from this crash was. It didn't just affect the vehicles directly involved. It affected innocent bystanders who were just trying to do the right thing and help someone in need. The entire 10 freeway had to be shut down, completely shut down. We're talking about one of the busiest freeways in Southern California, closed in both directions for hours. Traffic was backed up for miles. People were stuck in their cars, not knowing what happened, not knowing when they'd be able to move again. Emergency responders needed that space to work, to put out the fire, to remove the bodies, to begin their investigation. And while all of that was happening, while crews were working to clear the scene, families were getting phone calls. Families were being told that their loved ones weren't coming home. Families were being asked to come identify bodies. I can't imagine receiving that call. I can't imagine being on the other end of that conversation where a police officer tells you that your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter was killed in a crash on the freeway. Now, I want to talk about what this means for us as professional drivers, because every time something like this happens, every time there's a major crash involving a semi-truck, it reflects on all of us. The public doesn't distinguish between a good driver and a bad driver. They just see truck driver in the headline. They just see semi-truck in the news footage. and their perception of all of us gets a little bit worse. We already deal with enough negative stereotypes. We already have people who think we're dangerous, who think we're reckless, who don't want to share the road with us. And when crashes like this happen, it reinforces those beliefs. It makes it harder for the good drivers, the professional drivers, the ones who take the job seriously and do it right every single day. But here's the thing, we can't control what other drivers do. We can only control what we do. And that's why I'm making this video. That's why I'm talking about this tragedy. Because if even one person watching this learns something, if even one person changes their behavior behind the wheel, if even one person decides to slow down, pay attention, maintain their equipment, then maybe, just maybe, we can prevent the next one. So let's talk about the lessons here. Let's talk about what we can learn from this disaster. First and most obvious, speed kills. I know you've heard it a million times. I know it sounds like something from a driver's ed class, but it's true. Speed is a factor in so many of these major crashes. When you're driving a vehicle that weighs 80,000 pounds, every mile per hour matters. The difference between driving 65 and driving 75 is massive when it comes to stopping distance. The kinetic energy involved in a crash increases exponentially with speed. If that red truck had been going slower, if the driver had been following at a safe speed for conditions, he would have had more time to react. He would have had more distance to stop. Those 4 people might still be alive right now. Their families might be sitting down to dinner with them instead of planning funerals. Second lesson, following distance. This is something I harp on constantly, and I'm going to keep harping on it because it's so important. You need space. You need room to react. You need to be able to see what's happening ahead of you and have time to respond. The old rule of thumb is 1 second of following distance for every 10 feet of vehicle length. For a standard 53-foot trailer, that's at least 6 seconds, and that's in perfect conditions. In bad weather, in heavy traffic, in construction zones, you need even more. But I see drivers every single day tailgating. I see trucks riding bumpers on the freeway. I see drivers who think they need to be right up on the vehicle in front of them, and I don't understand it. What are you gaining? You're not getting there any faster. You're not making any more money. All you're doing is putting yourself and everyone around you at risk. If you're following too close and the vehicle in front of you suddenly stops or slows down, you don't have time to react. Physics doesn't care about your deadline. Physics doesn't care about your dispatcher's demands. A loaded semi-truck doing 65 miles per hour takes the length of 2 football fields to stop. That's if everything is working perfectly, if your brakes are in great condition, if the road is dry, if you react instantly. Add in any variables, wet road, worn brakes, delayed reaction, and you're looking at even more distance. Third lesson, maintenance matters. If this crash was caused by a mechanical failure and we don't know that yet, but it's possible, then that means someone didn't do their job. Someone didn't inspect that truck properly. Someone didn't maintain the brake system. Someone cut corners, and 4 people died because of it. Your pre-trip inspection isn't just paperwork. It's not just something you do because the DOT requires it. It's a matter of life and death. When you're checking your brakes, when you're looking at your tires, when you're inspecting your lights and your coupling and every other system on that truck, you're literally checking to see if your vehicle is capable of operating safely. If something is wrong, if something is worn out or damaged or not functioning properly, you need to get it fixed before you drive. Not next week, not after this load, now. I don't care what your dispatcher says. I don't care what your boss says. I don't care about the delivery appointment or the customer deadline. If your truck is not safe to operate, you don't operate it. Period. Because the alternative is what we saw on the 10 freeway. The alternative is people dying. Fourth lesson, distractions are deadly. If the driver of that red truck was distracted, if he was looking at his phone or his GPS or anything other than the road ahead, or people their lives. Put your phone down. I know you've heard it before. I know everyone says it, but I'm saying it again because it's that important. Your phone is not more important than someone's life. When you're behind the wheel of a commercial vehicle, you have a responsibility. You're operating a machine that can kill people easily, instantly. You don't get to treat it casually. You don't get to multitask. Your job, your only job when you're driving, is to drive. Everything else can wait. And I'm not just talking about texting. I'm talking about any distraction. Eating while driving, programming your GPS while moving, reaching for something on the passenger seat, adjusting your radio, talking on the phone, even if it's hands-free. All of these things take your attention away from the road. All of these things increase your reaction time. All of these things make you a less safe driver. Fifth lesson, fatigue is real. If the driver of that red truck was tired, if he was operating on too little sleep or too many consecutive hours behind the wheel, then the entire industry shares some blame for this crash. Because we all know that hours of service regulations get violated. We all know that drivers push themselves too hard. We all know that companies put pressure on drivers to deliver on time no matter what. And the result is tired drivers operating dangerous equipment at high speeds on crowded highways. The result is delayed reactions, poor decision making, and in the worst cases, drivers falling asleep at the wheel. If you're tired, if you're struggling to stay awake, if your eyes are burning and you're fighting to keep them open, you need to stop. Pull over, take a break, take a nap. I don't care what your ELD says. I don't care if you've got hours available. If your body is telling you it needs rest, listen to it. Your life is worth more than a load of freight. The lives of everyone around you on that highway are worth more than your on-time delivery bonus. No load, no customer, no company is worth dying for. And it's definitely not worth killing someone else for. Now, let's talk about the aftermath of a crash like this, because it extends way beyond the immediate scene. The 10 freeway was shut down for hours. That means thousands of people stuck in traffic. That means deliveries delayed. That means businesses affected. That means emergency vehicles potentially couldn't get to other emergencies because they were stuck in the gridlock caused by this crash. The economic impact of a major crash like this, you've got the cost of emergency response, the cost of cleanup, the cost of highway repair if the road was damaged, the cost of traffic delays affecting commerce, the cost of increased insurance premiums that follow major accidents. And that's all on top of the immeasurable human cost, the lives lost, the families destroyed, the survivors dealing with physical and psychological trauma. The investigation into this crash is going to take weeks, maybe months. The California Highway Patrol is going to go through every piece of evidence. They're going to examine the trucks involved, looking at maintenance records, looking at brake components, looking at whether the vehicles were properly inspected and maintained. They're going to pull data from the truck's electronic systems. Modern trucks record everything: speed, braking, throttle position, all of it. That black box data will tell investigators exactly what was happening in the seconds leading up to the crash. They're going to interview witnesses, get statements from everyone who saw what happened. They're going to reconstruct the crash, figure out exactly how the vehicles came together, what the speeds were, what the impact forces were. They're going to determine if the driver was impaired, if there were any violations of hours of service regulations, if there was any negligence or criminal behavior involved. And depending on what they find, there could be serious legal consequences. If the driver survives and is found to be at fault, he could face criminal charges, vehicular manslaughter, maybe even murder if they can prove gross negligence or recklessness. He could spend the rest of his life in prison. His CDL is almost certainly gone forever. His career is over. His life as he knew it is over. The trucking company that owns that red truck is going to face massive liability. They're going to get sued by the families of the victims. They're going to face potential regulatory action from their safety rating is going to take a hit. Their insurance premiums are going to skyrocket. If they're a small company, this could put them out of business entirely. And for what was worth all of this? Was it worth delivering that load on time? Was it worth saving a few minutes by driving too fast? Was it worth whatever distraction took the driver's attention off the road? Of course not. Nothing is worth this. I want you to think about that the next time you're tempted to speed, the next time you think about looking at your phone while driving, the next time you consider skipping a rest break because you want to get to your destination. Think about the 10 freeway yesterday. Think about 4 people who died. Think about the families left behind. Think about whether whatever you're about to do is worth that risk. Now, I know some of you watching this are going to think I'm being overdramatic. You're going to think this kind of thing doesn't happen that often, that you've been driving for years without incident, that you're a good driver and this could never happen to you. And maybe you're right. Maybe you are a good driver. Maybe you are careful. But accidents don't care how good you think you are. They happen to everyone. Experienced drivers, new drivers, careful drivers, everyone is vulnerable. The driver of that red truck probably thought he was a good driver too. He probably had years of experience. He probably had a clean driving record. And yet, for whatever reason, on that particular day, something went wrong and 4 people died. That's how fast it happens. That's how quickly everything can fall apart. I'm making this video because I don't want to make another video like this. I don't want to report on the next major crash. I don't want to talk about the next set of victims, the next destroyed families. But I know I probably will, because crashes like this keep happening. They keep happening because drivers keep making the same mistakes. They keep happening because companies keep pushing drivers too hard. They keep happening because enforcement isn't strong enough and the penalties aren't severe enough and the industry doesn't take safety seriously enough. But it doesn't have to be this way. Every one of these crashes is preventable. Every single one. If drivers would slow down, pay attention, maintain proper following distance, maintain their equipment, and get enough rest, we could eliminate the vast majority of serious crashes. We have the knowledge, we have the technology. What we need is the commitment to actually do it. So here's what I want from you. I want you to make a commitment right now. Make a commitment that you're going to be a safer driver. Make a commitment that you're going to slow down, that you're going to put your phone away, that you're going to maintain proper following distance, that you're going to take care of your equipment, that you're going to get the rest you need. Make a commitment that you're not going to be the driver in the next video I have to make about a fatal crash, because your family needs you to come home. Your kids need their parent. Your spouse needs their partner. Your friends need you, and everyone else on the road, all those people in all those other vehicles who are just trying to get where they're going, they need you to be a professional. They need you to take this seriously. The trucking industry needs you too. We need good drivers. We need people who understand the responsibility they're taking on when they get behind the wheel of an 80,000-pound vehicle. We need people who will uphold the standards of this profession and make us all look good. We don't need cowboys. We don't need people who think the rules don't apply to them. We don't need people who are going to cause crashes and make headlines for all the wrong reasons. This crash on the 10 freeway is a tragedy. It's a senseless loss of life, but it doesn't have to be meaningless. We can learn from it. We can use it as a reminder of why safety matters. We can use it as motivation to be better drivers. We can honor the victims by committing to make sure this doesn't happen again. So please, I'm begging you, take this seriously. When you get in your truck tomorrow, when you pull out onto the highway, remember what we talked about today. Remember the 4 people who died on the 10 freeway. Remember their families. And drive like someone's life depends on it. Because it does. It absolutely does. All right, young diesel family, that's all I've got for you today. I know this was heavy. I know it's not the kind of content you usually come here for, but sometimes we need to talk about the hard stuff. Sometimes we need to confront the reality of what can happen when things go wrong. Not to scare you, but to motivate you to be better. If this video made you think, if it made you reconsider any of your habits behind the wheel, hit that like button. And please share this video. Share it with every driver you know. Share it with your trucking buddies, your company, your family members who drive. Everyone needs to see this. Everyone needs to understand what's at stake. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building something important here. We're building a community of professional drivers who look out for each other, who hold each other accountable, who demand better from ourselves and from this industry. Drop a comment below. Tell me what you think about this crash. Tell me what you think we can do as an industry to prevent these tragedies. I want to hear from you. I want to know your thoughts. Stay safe out there. Drivers, please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And remember, no load is worth your life. Keep the shiny side up and the greasy side down. And for God's sake, slow down and pay attention. I'll see you in the next one. Young Diesel out.